What's happening this week in Warcraft? Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and catch me whenever I'm live. Quick heads up, the Twitch drop for the Clocker Spaniel pet ends Tuesday. Watch any WoW stream for 4 hours to be eligible, and then go to twitch.tv/inventory to claim the pet. A few hotfixes to point out: the market research used to rep up with the Darkview Solutions faction is now warbound, letting you play your alts guilt-free, then you can funnel your research for turn-ins. The faction is available after completing the Liberation of Undermined raid and completing a quick quest that starts at the Incontinental desk. And why deal with this faction? For a trench coat, of course. And let's go through some class tuning to find out how much Blizzard hates you personally. I'm gonna run through, so pay attention. Frost Death Knights are getting hooked up with 4% more damage from pretty much everything. Vengeance Demon Hunters took a hit to their mitigation with less parry from their main button. Balanced Druids look like their single target damage is going up by a bit. Meanwhile, Guardian Druids, sporting Druid of the Claw hero talents, they're gonna have a buff to their main dot, while their talent choice between Empowered Shapeshifting and Wild Power Surge has been adjusted. The idea of cat weaving kinda scares me a little bit, so I'm all for the change. As long as the higher skill cap talent still has a good payoff, it's kinda messed up to sort of dumb the spec down, right? Devastation and Preservation Evoker tier sets for Seasons 1 and 2 have been adjusted to get people to want to use the Season 2 set, which is kind of hilarious. Preservation is also getting some love with an overall increase to healing and DPS abilities. Augmentation is going to deal 15% more personal damage. Let's see how much that helps them. Beast Mastery Hunters are receiving help with a longer duration Black Arrow to play with. Survival got lots of love with more overall damage and big increases to pet damage. I've heard lots of complaints about Marksman Hunters, and sure enough, lots of increases here, mostly focused around their Dark Ranger tree. Frost and Arcane Mages seem to have teamed up against Fire, with increases to their specs and a modest nerf to fire damage, which in a way is a double nerf. It looks like most got too much attention and are taking a round of nerfs to Windwalker and Mistweaver specs with the hopes that other changes won't affect its healing. And Brewmaster damage has gone up a bit too. Holy Paladins have an increase to all healing, their spenders, and to their Holy Prism. Retribution's single target damage got a modest buff, and protection seems to be fine, I guess. I heard lots of smack talk against Holy Priests, and the Reckoning has come with lots of increases to most of their spells, including their Oracle talent tree. I gotta be honest though, after trying out that tree for the first time just the other week, I'm not so sure if any buffs would make me ever take this over popping like a bunch of halos. Both Shadow and Discipline Priest took hits to their throughput, with Discipline also losing some overall damage mitigation through Atonement. Assassination Rogues got similar treatment to Evokers, with their Season 1 tier bonus getting nerfed, but I guess to compensate they've been buffed with an overall increase plus more to their Mutilate damage. Elemental Shaman single target damage is being buffed, with some modest increases to those abilities, including a fat buff to Primordial Wave damage and Maelstrom generation, and Resto's 2-piece bonus does a bit more healing throughput. Warlocks got a nice and easy bump to their overall damage. Protection Warriors are taking some hits with reduced damage to the Shield Slam as well as Revenge if they take up the Colossus tree. And if your class or spec wasn't mentioned, well, I'm sorry, but Blizzard just stopped caring about you. Which includes me too, whoops. The Trial of Style only lasts for a few more days, but there's still plenty of time to pick up the many new appearances available. Okay, I said many, but really the selection is sort of limited, although it does include a lot of these leg wrap colors. But I do dig the plain brown sets to give that, hey look at me, I'm like cosplaying as Anduin kind of look. The final wing of Raid Finder releases this week featuring the Gallywix encounter. Now this guy's a loot pinata and starts off with a universal curio to trade in for the tier of your choice. This can be traded into Kari Bridge Blaster on the second floor of the Incontinental. He drops more of those weapons that apply a special debuff on mobs, and again, cross your fingers for buffs in the near future because the throughput is awful. It's been contributing like a whopping 1.5% of my damage in most encounters. He also drops 2 very powerful trinkets, one for defense and the other one for overall throughput. There's a rare chance of him dropping a ring that gives a stat proc, and a very rare chance at dropping a mount. It's a good time for gearing this week, and here's what's going down. Since we got a surprise half spark the other week, the schedule of completing a crafting spark has been bumped up. For the remainder of the season, it looks like we can expect to alternate between a complete spark week and a catalyst charge week. So this time it's a spark week, and we can expect a healthy bump in crafting traffic. Meanwhile, it's the dungeon event this week. Complete 4 heroic or higher dungeons for a shot at hero track gear from the raid table. I want to take a few moments to assess the Season 2 gearing opportunities available for your main and alts, like a checklist of where to get some easy gains. One of your first stops ought to be the Warband to pick up any Warband gear for your alt and help them get started. I just mentioned this week gives a chance at hero gear with the Dungeon Weekly, but also keep an eye out for events every week for some relatively easy completions. Up to 3 Sparks of Fortune should be available for epic crafts. 2 Catalyst charges can be used to turn veteran and higher gear into tier set pieces. The Cartels of Undermined Faction offer some easy gear if your renown's high enough, and if you got some spare resonance crystals. Renown level 7 lets you buy veteran boots, Renown 14 lets you buy champion gloves, both of which can be transformed with the Catalyst. Renown 20 will score you and your alts a Ruined Undermined Crest for heroic level crafted gear, but if you complete the Undermined campaign, you'll receive a crest at the end too. After completing this once, your alt can easily skip ahead to the same quest by talking to the receptionist at the Incontinental and then running the story mode raid encounter. Freshly leveled alts from this season can score additional delve keys from the Renowned Quartermasters whose keys worked in Season 2. Older max level characters work too as long as they've never picked these keys up during Season 1. While you're there, it's a good idea to pick up all the extra Valor Stones and crests from these vendors, and I strongly suggest not using these Valor Stones right away. Instead, save them for putting together crafting sparks and make the best gear you can, saving on lots of Valor Stones you'd otherwise be spending on low-level upgrades. Finally, there's the regular routine, the low-hanging fruit. Complete weekly crests for caches that award veteran-level gear and keys for delves, and defeat the world boss for warbound gear to send to alts who need it. It's a fairly robust list of things to do. Some may call them chores, but the way I see it, unlike the chores of yesteryear, these lead directly to purple gear with only a bit of legwork. And there's still more to come. 11.1.5 is still a month or so away most likely, which will introduce even more gearing and also more collection options I think are enticing enough to start going for right away. I also want to share some tips on how to get Delver's Bounties. Now, in case you don't know, they're a rare drop in delves when you finish a bountiful delve or you come under attack by the Underpin. It's the big bad for Season 2 delves. Using these can score you up to hero track gear if you complete high-level delves and up to 10 gilded crests by clearing an 11 delve as long as you use the item before the delve is completed. I've been hearing some complaints over the RNG getting these Delver's Bounties to drop, but here are other ways to farm it up. The first is to collect 2,000 undercoins and then buy a Wave Scrambler 2000 from the Delve vendor. Any character with undercoins can buy this and then trade the item to your desired character. Using it in any delve will force the underpin to spawn, allowing you to challenge him and get a Delver's Bounty after the encounter. That's the most reliable way if you want a non-RNG route to ensure you get a bounty each week. Another way is to ask around for someone else's use of the Wave Scrambler. If you're in a delve group, summoning the Underpin will drop the Delver's Bounty for all players. So I recommend checking the group finder in case there are Delver's Bounty groups, and you can start this up too. If you have your own item, set up a group in the group finder and wait a few minutes to catch anyone looking for someone to bum a map off of, and it can't hurt. The third method is a little bit RNG but faster, and I'd say more reliable than hoping for the Underpin to spawn or clearing entire delves. This will require to have the Loot Raider utility curio equipped, then enter the delve of your choice at tier 4 or higher. Now earlier tiers might work, but it never has for me, so I'm just going to recommend 4 or higher. Anyway, Loot Raider will identify mislaid curiosities on your minimap to loot every minute or so. These are cool because there's a random chance a Wave Scrambler 2000 will be contained inside. So all you have to do now is explore as little or as much of the delve as you want in search of the Wave Scrambler and hoard them up. Then in the future, as you're playing through, if you happen to get Delver's Bounties naturally, hey, great. If not, use a Wave Scrambler to ensure your gains. In this case, I advise using the Wave Scrambler towards the end of your raid week, just in case some good luck happens to come your way. Consider this a very important takeaway or a mental health reminder. There's an RNG and a non-RNG option to take towards obtaining these Delver's Bounties. Planning around the grind can make life a little bit easier and turns the random drop into a nice surprise instead of what you should be expecting, so I hope this helps. In other events, Classic Ashran is the Brawl, and over in Mythic Plus World, it's a Fortified Tyrannical Week, and Devour is the affix. This is the one where you gotta heal or dispel the buff off, or else. It's nothing that a little self-heal can't help mitigate while your actual healer takes care of the rest. Last week, I asked you folks how you were doing with Valor Stones this season compared to previous ones, and the feedback so far has been fairly positive. A fair number of folks don't like the principle behind Valor Stones, that's totally fine, but in practice it seems like players don't appear to be starving as much. Anyway, this time I want to ask about the delve experience with Brand these days, notably for the healers using Tank Brand. How's he feeling after the hotfixes, and what sort of adjustments as a player did you need to make? And for DPS who are still trying to use Tank Brand, does it feel any better? I've done my share of testing after the hotfixes, and my findings, well, they're actually not important, but I want to hear from you instead. That's going to be it for now, and I'm currently in the middle of a pretty big move, and there's a lot of work to do fixing up the room to be my new workspace. I'll still be streaming during the transition, but stay tuned for some changes to the background and, well, the production too. I want to thank you for all the support you've been sending. It's been much, much appreciated, and I hope to see more of your digital face. Please like the video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.